Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a very rare medal only awarded to about 142,000 Americans, unfortunately. Hello and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop hosted by Medals of America and of course by Medals of America Press. I'm Frank Foster, your host. And today we have a very unusual medal to talk about, the Prisoner of War Medal. My son, a former infantry officer, always said there were two types of medals. There were happy medals and there were sad medals. And the Prisoner of War medal is certainly a sad medal. In fact, when you look at the medallion itself, it's a grim medallion. The American eagle with its wings folded, surrounded with barbed wire, and a circle of pointed bayonets certainly tells a tale that it's not a medal for valor and it's not a medal for merit. It's a medal for exemplary good conduct while a prisoner of war. It took over 40 years after first recommended by Congress to the military for the Prisoner of War medal to be approved, and that was in 1985. And it's a significant medal to those members of the families and those members of the armed forces who were prisoners of war, because it honors their good conduct and the suffering that they went through as prisoners. Prisoner of War medal is awarded to any person taken prisoner of war and held captive after April 5, 1917 or World War I. It means that the individual has to have been taken a prisoner or held captive while engaged in an action against an enemy of the United States during military operation, and the recipient's conduct while a prisoner must have been honorable. The Prisoner of War medal is designed by the Institute of Heraldry, and the medal itself is a circular bronze disc with the American eagle centered and completely surrounded by a ring of barbed wire and bayonet points. The reverse of the medal has a raised inscription, awarded to with a space for the recipient's name and for honorable service while a prisoner of war, set in 3 lines. Below this is the shield of the United States and the words United States of America. The ribbon itself is black with thin bordered stripes of white, blue, white, and red. Additional awards, which has actually happened, are denoted by 3/16" bronze stars. But I think it'll make the medal more personal and you'll have a better understanding if I can tell you the story about one of the World War II Army Air Corps recipients of the Prisoner of War medal, Flight Officer Tommy Floyd. Flight Officer Floyd was assigned to a B-17 crew, and in those days there were 10 men assigned to a B-17. Pilot, co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, flight engineer, and 5 aerial gunners. So he was one of a crew of 10 on a B-17, and at times there were 1,000 B-17s and B-24s in the air on bombing missions over Germany. Well, by the 7th or 8th mission, Tommy was becoming a little concerned, and he wrote a V-mail letter to his wife. What's a V-mail letter? Well, take a look. It's a single sheet of paper that a man could write a quick note or letter to his wife or his son or his brother or a member of the family. It would be sent through the censor, photographed, the microfilm would be sent on to the United States. They'd print out a copy of it and send it to the recipient. But in the letter, he says, things are getting a little rough. I hope the German gunners have the hiccups tomorrow. Just as soon as we get back from a mission, we're alerted to another one. Then take a look at his flight operational report. Mission number 10, missing in action. His aircraft was at about 24,000 feet. All of a sudden, they had all kinds of engine problems. A pilot called, we're going down. Everybody abandoned ship. I don't know if his dad was in the Navy or what, but hey, it was everybody out. So he parachuted out, carefully remembered not to open his parachute too early as he came down through 2 or 3 different ice layers. Parachute opened, almost immediately he landed in a German cemetery, and a couple of the German Polizei were there, and off he went to the local jail, which much to his surprise, the next day a German sailor on leave dropped in and said, "Hey, I just got a letter from my brother who's in Arizona in a prisoner of war camp." Well, that didn't last long. He was on a train to Frankfurt and then moving on to another prisoner of war camp. Take a look at the picture between Happy Tommy Floyd and prisoner of war flight officer Floyd. So what's happening on the home front, where he has a wife and a small daughter? Well, his wife suddenly receives in February a telegram from the Adjutant General saying, "The Secretary of War asked me to inform you that your husband, Flight Officer Thomas Floyd, is missing in action." More details to follow when we have some. Well, what's really amazing is just a week or so after he was shot down through the International Red Cross, prisoners were allowed to send postcards home telling their families that they were captured and doing all right. So you can imagine Mrs. Floyd's there in Columbia. She's got this damn telegram, which she received 2 copies of, and she's worrying like crazy. There's no word. Families coming in, everybody's grieving and upset. And suddenly a postcard from Germany arrives, Luftpost, and it says, "I am a prisoner." As the Allies advanced into Germany, the Germans kept moving the prisoners of war from one stalag to another, and even carrying the personnel records of the prisoners. And here's Floyd's pictures taken when he was shot down, and the meticulous records that the Germans kept on each prisoner of war. The Red Cross postcards were usually the first way a family knew that a missing in action soldier or airman was really a prisoner of war. It wasn't until almost 2 months later that the official telegram arrived informing the family that he was a prisoner of war. The good news for Floyd and 125,000 other American prisoners during World War II was that they were finally liberated. But they didn't come home immediately. They were sent to various camps, normally in France for those in Europe, camps named after cigarettes like Lucky Strike or Camel, and there they were given full medicals and required to write a complete report on how they were captured. As you know, we always try to show an example of how the medals would be displayed, and here is an extraordinary display case of a World War II aerial gunner who was shot down over Germany. He has not only his wings, but his Caterpillar Club card for having hit the silk, a pair of handmade parachute badges, and his German Stalag ID tag. Then starting on the left is his Air Medal with 1 bronze oak leaf cluster, the Prisoner of War Medal, his Good Conduct Medal, his American Campaign, and the fact that he served 3 campaigns in the European Theater of Operations, and the Victory Medal. An extraordinary case honoring an American who survived as a prisoner of war during World War II. Thank you for joining us today on our show of the Prisoner of War Medal. It's an unusual medal, a fairly rare medal, but one that honors the service of those who were captured in combat with the enemy. If you've enjoyed the show, give us a like. Even better, give us a subscribe. We'll see you next time. Okay, you say, well, 1/3 of the prisoners of war in Germany were members of the Army Air Corps that were shot down. What about the other 60,000 or so, most of which were infantry that were captured? Well, I have an interesting interview with Melvin Bessinger, one of Charleston's most famous barbecue restaurant owners. Melvin was 18 when he went in, and you might enjoy listening to his story. It comes on next.
When I was 18, I was working at Charleston Navy Yard, just got out of high school. And I went there to work, and they were drafting a lot of people. My buddies was going into service, and I was losing all my friends. And I said, heck, well, I want to go fight too. So I guess I was patriotic. When you're young like that, you do a lot of things. We advanced all that day, and we stopped to rest and dug in and got your positions on the front lines. And the next day, my buddy wanted to get some water. He went and got some water from an old French house in the front. So after he came back, I went and filled my canteen up. I said, was there anything out there? And I was safe. He says, yes, I didn't see anything. So I went to get me some water, and that's when I got captured, 12 German soldiers. And they marched me back behind the lines on a motorcycle and interrogated me at nighttime in a little tent. Asked me all types of questions. And I was by myself, so I was very scared too. Looking at all, nothing but Germans and Nazis and tanks and stuff like that by myself. I didn't know what they were going to do to me. I thought probably they was going to kill me. See, we got to Trier, Germany. Stayed there about 3 weeks with a lot of other prisoners, Russians and everything. And then they put us in boxcars and closed them up. We went to Memory, another camp. Stayed there about 2 weeks. There, they shipped us out, some of us, to Augsburg, Germany, Stalag 7B. We were in a small camp, I guess about 100 troops, prisoners, and barracks, 32 room, and had straw beds. It wasn't comfortable, and that's how you slept. And you had a little pot-belly stove sitting right in the middle of the barracks, and you would heat your coffee on that in the morning. That's the only thing you had. The coffee was so black. I don't know where they got it. It was cold. It was so nasty. It was miserable. But we had to drink or else we wouldn't have anything. Then we were lined up with some soup. And where they made the soup, I don't know. It was nasty. Like they hadn't washed it. Oh, we were sick all the time. Put it that way. And you had, water was turned on 15 minutes a day. And you had to get out there and do a little hand washing. You couldn't take a shower if you did. I didn't see it. I didn't shower for 10 months. So I said, these Germans weren't going to kill me. And I kept my eyes open all the time, as hard as I could. And I looked on all directions. Every little movement in the foxhole looking toward us, I would look. I was on the alert. So being on the alert helped me a lot. And there I stayed the rest of my prison term until I escaped. I think of what I have accomplished in life and what I think about my buddies and what we went through with to get these medals, and it makes me feel great.
Special thanks to Mr. Ron Small for doing the interview with Mr. Bessinger. And for any information on United States military medals, you can find it in Military Medals of America. The book is available on Amazon and at moapress.com.